Today, we start the journey on this car to take it from what it is now to a wild, loud, candy, flake, pinstripe, you name it, lowrider paint job. What we have here is a 1986 Buick Regal that we're going to be taking from this blue paint job to something entirely different, much more loud, much more wild. But first, we have to start by taking trim, bumpers, etc. off. So let's get to it. Before that, let's do a quick walk around so you have a better idea of how the car is starting out. It's a fairly nice job and overall a very clean car, so I'm grateful for that. While we're here, I do want to thank you all for the engagement on my videos. It's good for the YouTube algorithm and it helps me grow as a creator, which is huge as I started out just 2 months ago. The more you engage, the better I'm able to create this content for you. So with that said, go ahead and hit that like button and leave a comment if you're excited to see how this car turns out. Alright, enough of that. On to disassembly. Okay, so we got the front bumper off, headlight trim, hood ornament, and of course I can't do anything without getting messy or damaging something. Already have a hole in my pants from a little tab on the bumper that caught as it was coming off. So off to a good start. Now we move on to the back of the car and get the taillights, rear bumper, and any other trim off the back of the car. Here we are in the trunk removing the plastic wing nut style fasteners that hold the tail lamp assemblies in. Once those are off, you just pop the bulbs out and the housings come right off. Next is the rear bumper, which only required getting attacked by my dog and removing 8 nuts. I can't remember the size, but I doubt anyone is watching this video as a tutorial to take this bumper off. That's off. Now let's get that license plate out of here. Loosely put the hardware back on so I don't lose it, and onto that trunk lid. The edge trim is a pinch fit, but it also has 3 screws helping hold it tight to the trunk lid. The bezel around the key lock was just a matter of cutting through some double-sided sticky tape and removing the residue. Next up, doors. These door panels are similar to most others where there are plastic fasteners around the perimeter and a few screws where the door pull is. One thing I haven't seen in a while is a 2-piece panel like this. And look at that factory weather seal and jute padding in the door. It's so well preserved and in great condition for something 35 years old. The mirror adjustment knob has a small Allen head set screw holding the bezel in the panel. Once that's all handled, there are 2 nuts holding the mirror on, 2 nuts holding the door handle on, and you have to remove the door lock tumbler. Okay, so that pretty much wraps it up. I just have a couple more trim pieces, mainly this piece right here. Probably gonna regret taking this one off, but I'm going to anyways. The reason being is these are pinch or friction fit onto the hood. So once I get it all painted and everything, I have to hammer this back on, and it's kind of like a channel that just pinches onto the paint. So hopefully it doesn't peel it up when I put it back on. Anyways, here we go with that. And that does it for the amount of disassembly I'm going to do on this. I have clean access to all the panels that are getting painted, and we're not going crazy taking all the window and the interior out. So this is far. I'm happy with where it is. Now we're going to do body work and start the sanding process. So first, I'm going to walk around the car, give it a nice sight up and down everywhere, try and identify all the damage and dents that I'm going to have to fix. Mark those with masking tape, and then we'll start sanding those areas to repair. As I've said before, this car is in pretty nice condition with just really minor dings to take care of. I think in total there were less than 10 little dings ranging mostly about the size of a quarter, and then there was a couple larger ones, but they were still all shallow. At this point, I'm just sanding the surface down with 240 on a DA, and that's just to give the body filler a good surface to adhere to. After I get rid of all the dust, I wipe it down with a foaming window cleaner and then a wax and grease remover, and I let it dry completely before I put any filler on. 2 key things to remember when working with body filler. 1, only use how much you need, and 2, keep it as thin as possible. If you use those 2 rules when using body filler, you'll be just fine and produce great results. All the dents have been sanded in 240. I've spread some body filler on everything. I gotta wait for that to dry. Then we'll knock it down, block it out nice and straight. All right, so I've got the dents all filled and blocked down with hard block by hand to 150 grit. So here we go. Got the hood, got the door dings taken care of on that side. Dings taken care of on this side. There was a pretty big crease right there. Not deep, just long. And this is the last we're gonna see of Mr. Tim Lowry's artwork on this car. Sorry, Tim. Now I'm gonna hit it with a DA just to smooth everything out around the 150 scratches. Gonna get it up to 240 and then 400 around the repair areas so the primer has something to blend into. Here we go. All right, so the bodywork is done. Everything's finished in 240. You go 240, a little ways out, and then a bigger ring, 400. That way you can spray the primer and have something to blend into, and you won't have a hard edge or any noticeable repair. Basically, that's the goal, right? Make it look like nothing happened. So, anyways, door dings there. Pretty minor on this car. It's pretty clean. This is just from pushing the hood down to shut it. Got a little one there. Like I said, yeah, I'll probably just end up priming that whole door there. And then the roof, it's all sanded in 400. This was silver leafing. Sanded that all off, so that'll get primer over there to help level that out. And the trunk lid. The clear coat on the trunk lid was chalking up. It looked like it was getting ready to flake off, so sanded that down. That'll get a couple coats of primer to hold everything down, and we'll move on to the next step. So, wrong. I thought the bodywork was done, but I did notice some 2 cracks here on the sail panel, and typically how these bodies are constructed, there's usually a lead seam somewhere on the sail panel on pretty much any old American car. And that's where the roof cap meets the rest of the body here, and then they just fill it with lead. And you can see there's some silicone brass or bronze, or probably brass, that they used to fill that in at some point in time. It's just been a couple years since 1986, but anyways, sanded all that down. This metal is all good. The painting, the crack was just in the paint. This, I think we got to gouge that out a little bit and fill it. So that's what we're gonna do. Then the bodywork will be done. Okay, so now the bodywork is actually all done. I went ahead and sanded it all, wiped the car down, got it bagged up, ready to go. Now, if you've watched my earlier video about how to mask a car, I used paper on that one, but I used plastic on this. And the reason for that is, this is a quick primer job. So I'm basically gonna be spraying primer, one shot in little spots, and then the plastic's gonna come off. It's not gonna get one coat of something, sit for 30, 45 minutes, another coat. There's not gonna be a long time in between for paint to dry on the plastic and then flutter and fly all over your paint job the next time you go around to make your other pass. But anyways, here we are, all masked up, ready to go, wiped down. Just got to do one last wipe of wax and grease remover. We'll start spraying some primer. That's going to do it for this video. I'm cutting it off there. This is a lot longer video, so let me know what you think of the length of it. Next video, we'll keep going. Sand down the primer, get it ready for the next stage. Thanks for watching. See you next time.